one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
I can't even think about all of the shit I did to fit in. Past hard to watch like a fucking scary movie. I'm always happy to meet somebody that never knew me. Change for the better, hope niggas are living through me. I put it all on the wax so the people can know the true me. Hard to remain sane when the people you love the most is what's causing the damn pain. Y'all beef by the same thing, we ain't playing the same game. It's all for my family. She the girl of your fucking dreams, but to me she a plain Jane. You dipper and ball man, I duck when them calls came. This that higher level thinking. I'm the type to jump the fuck off of the shit before it's sinking. Not here for no new shit. My game slider boosted. Ain't I don't have to prove shit. Rockstar fight the fool shit. My movie, this the new script. I want a life with no bullshit. Nigga, I know on these news clips. That's why I dap him and move quick. Won't be around when they move switch. Won't be around when they lose clips. Won't be around for they lose lips. Might be the reason they pull shit. Yeah.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last.
We have to have a discussion, a conversation. Excuse me. What's good? What's up with everybody, yo? How's everybody doing? Sometimes on Fridays, it's like, Friday, the end of the work week. Not for me. I got to work on Saturdays, so, it is what it is. However, how dope is the day, yo? I hope everybody had a dope day, dope week. I am going to do my predictions for the week. I'm going to do that video tomorrow, and it's going to be up by tomorrow. It's going to be a grind tomorrow because I also got to do the wrestling breakdown after Extreme Rules. But we ain't getting into all that right now. We're here to talk about the Thursday night primetime matchup. Not too much of a primetime matchup. You had two of the worst offenses in the NFL. Coincidentally, two teams that both have horses as the logo. The Broncos, the Colts. Both teams had Peyton Manning play for them. So, very intriguing on a lot of different levels. Had two quarterbacks who were traded to the team who were great for their previous team, statistically and whatnot. But Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, the Colts, the Broncos, both teams came into this game struggling. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a lot of Russell Wilson talking in the video. I'm probably not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this game. Really don't want to do that. Was not the greatest of games. But I do got some things to say about Russell Wilson. And specifically the Russell Wilson criticism. But not a great game. And it's a lot of people who criticizing Russell Wilson after this game. And rightfully so. I have no problem with people criticizing Russell Wilson's play on the football field. He did not have a good game. He has not played good this season. Neither has Matt Ryan. I mean, this was an atrocious game. Both offensive lines are bad. Denver's had a bad offensive line for a while. They just get flagged for so many different things. The shocking thing is the Colts offensive line. See, I didn't expect the Colts to have this bad of an offense. I didn't expect the Colts to have a bad offensive line, period. The Colts have an atrocious offensive line, though. And it's the craziest part about their offensive line is I really want to see those stats because Pro Football Focus seem to always put out I be watching offensive linemen give up pressures and whatnot, and then after the game, the PFF thing is like, oh no, they actually didn't give up it. So it's always crazy. But Ryan Kelly, who's supposed to be a great center, just continued to let dudes come right through the middle. I specifically was watching Ryan Kelly continuously let dudes shoot him through the middle. Just whether they backed him down, whether they bull rushed him, it just didn't matter. So many dudes was able to run gains on him. The Ryan Kelly thing is confusing. But then you got Quentin Nelson, who looked just as bad. And obviously the worst part of the offensive line for the Colts was the rookie who they had starting at left tackle. But I'm specifically looking at the two best players on the offensive line. Quentin Nelson supposed to be a generational talent. And listen, this could just be an off year. And when you have so many, because they done had 5 quarterbacks in 5 years, that's difficult to continuously go through that type of scheme, to change up 5 different schemes. But Quentin Nelson might be more of a run block, and I don't know. When you got to pass as much as this team, I don't know, man. They can't block for the run right now. They don't block good for the pass right now. And it's not just because Raymond had the worst game of everybody on their line, but it's not like anybody else really played that great. I think the entire Colts offensive line was bad. The craziest part about the game was a lot of crazy parts in this game. At the end of the game, the 2 pass rushes for Denver, Randy Gregory was already out. You had 2 pass rushes for Denver who was balling out. Bowen, I think was his name, and another guy. Both of them got hurt in the fourth quarter of this game, I believe. And that changed everything a little bit because they didn't have those 2 dudes who was just getting to the quarterback at will. And so I don't know what's going on with the offensive line for Indy, but that's crazy, especially when it's not just, the young dudes and whatnot. It's your 2 great players also struggling right now. So that's a little bit shocking, but I'm not shocked by how bad the Colts have been. 2 things that I said in the offseason. Matt Ryan's not a good quarterback anymore, so he's not going to change life of this team. They might as well have kept Carson Wentz rather than moving on to Matt Ryan because they legitimately downgraded. And Carson Wentz has been bad so far to start the season, so it's very hard to realize that he is actually better than Matt Ryan. But he's better than Matt Ryan. If nothing else, he is more athletic, and Matt Ryan is just eating sacks right now. And I already thought Matt Ryan was atrocious at getting away from sacks anyways. Like, I thought he was one of the dudes who take too many sacks. And on top of that, he fumbled the ball too fucking much. And he got 12 fumbles through 5 games in the NFL season. That's like a record. So, I'm not shocked by this. I thought Matt Ryan would be bad. Because ever since you took away all that talent he had surrounding him in Atlanta, and go and look at Matt Ryan, I say this all the time. It's hard to remember another quarterback that had as much talent as Matt Ryan had around him in his career. And the man never won a Super Bowl. And nobody ever held him to a crazy standard like they hold everybody else. Like, Matt Ryan was surrounded. And he had years where the defense was great. Never got his team aside from that one time where they got the team to the Super Bowl that one time, never got, other than that, made a serious Super Bowl run. But I see dudes like Lamar Jackson get destroyed. But they let Matt Ryan go through a whole career and never really do shit with all the talent he had around him. Shit's crazy. Either way, I knew Matt Ryan wasn't going to be the answer for Indy. And to me, them going out and getting Matt Ryan, to me, it just proved that Indy either don't know what the fuck they see up top, or they just don't know what the fuck they doing. They panicking and just making stupid moves at this point. And once you lose an Andrew Luck, I understand that happened out of nowhere. I understand the first season, maybe even the second season of panic. By this point in time, your organization should have a plan by now. Getting these old quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks, and Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. Imagining that next year to be another quarterback. Like, this is getting a little bit ridiculous, and it's wasting the careers of a lot of great players on that team. But on the flip side, also, not even on the flip side, I also said I didn't think Jonathan Taylor would have the same season he had last year this year. And when I saw him being ranked so high on that top 100 list and whatnot, I said this is amazing that they ranked him this high because dude had one great season. And as good as the season was, it still, in my opinion, wasn't as great as Derrick Henry's because it took him a minute to pass Derrick Henry in rushing, and Derrick Henry was hurt most of the year. Imagine how crazy a season you were having to have still been leading the league in rushing 2 to 3, 4 weeks after you done been hurt, and you haven't played a game, and you still lead the league in rushing. So to me, as great as the year he had, I still didn't think it was Derrick Henry type of year. A Derrick Henry type of year. So I just naturally expected drop off from Jonathan Taylor. So I'm be honest with you, what I'm seeing from Indy, really not shocking. And the fact that they was able to pull out this win, Kirk and Al was talking about like this one of 3 of the ugliest wins on the schedule for a team. Yeah. And then we flip over to the Denver side of things. Because the Colts shouldn't have won this game. The first lead they took was in overtime. They shouldn't have won this game. It's hard to say they got outplayed because both offenses played atrocious. One of the most irritating things watching this game was seeing how both teams would have 3rd and longs and they would throw the ball nowhere near the first down line. Nowhere near. So it was just a bunch of punts, sacks, fumbles, interceptions. Like, it was bad. To me, this game got so bad, since I had no rooting interest in this game, I just kept hoping it got worse and worse. I'm going to be honest with you. That's how bad it was for me. I just, like, when you got fans leaving, going into overtime, they don't even give a fuck what happened. They so done with this. That say a lot. But the Broncos side of the game, Russell Wilson, man, I don't know what's going on with Russ right now. Broncos country ain't riding right now with your big dog. But listen, Russ to me has proven that he is a great quarterback. So I'm willing to give Russ time. It just is what it is. It'd be so different if Russ was a bad quarterback. Russ is not a bad quarterback. Russ is struggling right now, and I get that. One of the things, though, and I've watched every single one of these Denver games, and I'm very critical of Russ. Like, I'm not letting Russ off the hook. Nathaniel Hackett is an atrocious head coach. I know a bad head coach when I see one. Nathaniel Hackett is not a good head coach. And his offensive scheme is not good either. And I understand that Russell Wilson is playing bad, but I know how to separate Russell Wilson playing bad and what the coach is doing to make it better or to make it worse. And Nathaniel Hackett really ain't doing shit to make the situation any better. And it's a shame because the Denver Broncos have a playoff defense right now. Their defense looked better this year than it looked under Vic Fangio. How is that possible when he was a defensive mind? But the Broncos defense is unreal. Unreal. Like, the way they can keep a team in a game like this. Now, I'm interested to see what they do when they have to play against a team that actually can score. Like, I want to see how good the defense actually is. Because it's one thing to do this. Like, I still hold it. I give them a lot of credit for what they did to Kyle Shanahan's offense. Because you look at what Kyle Shanahan's offense did to the Rams. But to me, Denver right now has a great defense, and it's being undermined because it's not even that the offense is playing bad. They playing like it seemed like every time the Broncos defense do something good, the offense do something equally as bad. So it's not even like you go 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're playing so bad that, like, the defense get an interception and you go out and throw a pick right back. Except for your pick might get closer to the other team's side of the into your territory. So it's like Denver's offense is so. You know how they say you got to play complimentary football? The Denver Broncos are not playing complimentary football at all, and it's kind of crazy because these two teams, like. It's so wild. Like, I knew the Colts would suck. I'm just being honest with you. I thought the Colts would suck. I did not think that the fucking Broncos would suck. But the fact that these two teams is on the same fucking path right now that's the Colts actually should be happy because they need to end up with one of the worst records in the league. So actually, it's not a good thing that they over 500 right now, basically, because they need to figure out how to get a top quarterback in the draft. But for the Broncos, I'm telling you, man, listen, Russ is too, listen, because I'm going to be critical of Russ. Russ has been into the league. He's been in the league too long to still take as bad as sacks he take, to throw some of the throws he made. Like, the interception he made, he threw in the end zone after they ran the ball so well on that drive, which I knew that drive was going to end in an interception. I just felt it the whole way. I knew Russ was going to throw that bad interception. That for one, he threw a terrible interception. Well, both the interceptions was terrible, but it was a tough game. You go into overtime. The Colts get their first lead of the game by getting the field goal. You go down the field with Nathaniel Hackett and the Russ in the offense. And on 4th and 1, I believe it was, they go for it. Now, see, this is my problem. Now, y'all know, if you listen to me, I talk about it all the time. I'm a big go for the win type of dude and all that. But I also talk a lot about how I understand the situations and what's happening in the game. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things I also don't, because this is about to be a big part of the conversation. Everybody is saying that, one thing I don't like is when people forget that the quarterback is not the only motherfucker getting paid. Like, other people got jobs too. Other people getting paid to do shit too. So that's the first thing. I blaming, immediately putting all this on Russ is just insane to me, because it ain't just all on Russ. All right. Second thing is, I don't like how people are like letting Nathaniel Hackett off the leash, off the hook. Because I saw people talk about how, well, we got to be consistent. We can't say that Nathaniel Hackett took the ball out of Russell Wilson's hand that first week against Seattle in Seattle when this bozo went for a 64-yard field goal at the time, opposed to this game where he let Russ keep the ball, except for the fact it was like a 15-fucking-yard field goal they would have tried to tie the game in overtime, in a game which a tie means it does not hurt you like a loss does. Make that make sense for me, because people is trying to say that they can excuse him because they want to be consistent. He gave Russ up. Listen, I'm not excusing Russ for the overtime mishap or whatever you want to call it, but I'm very honest in how I feel about it. I was with the John Harbaugh situation. I'm very honest in this one also. And in that situation, I thought to myself, as soon as they got it on fourth down, I said to myself, kick the field goal. Your offense is atrocious in the red zone. You have been bad all night in the red zone. Your offense walked up the field on this drive and once again stalled out in the red. Just take the field goal. You are not in a division in which you can pile up losses. Not only that, there is a high chance you could get this ball back with the way your defense has played tonight. Just take the field goal. Nathaniel Hackett decided to put the ball in Russ's hand and let Russ go for it. Now, people gonna blame Russ because they was like, oh, Hamlin was open, blah, blah, blah. The way this game was going, I understand Russ is a veteran quarterback. He got to see certain things, blah, blah, blah. The way this game was going, that ball should not have been in Russ's hands. This is when I say a coach is paid. The quarterback ain't the only motherfucker that's paid to do his job. The coach's job is to save the quarterback and the team from itself at times. The John Harbaugh situation, I agree with him going for it in that situation. It was still time on the clock. The interception was the worst thing that could have happened in that situation, because if the interception doesn't happen and they just fail on that down, the game ain't over. The Bills take over at the 1 yard line. The Broncos lose this fucking game. And a game in which, like I said, you're not in an easy division. You're in a tough division. Every win matters, just like every loss does. A tie does not hurt you like... I just don't understand the decision-making by Nathaniel Hackett. Just, to me, it was moronic decision-making by Nathaniel. Oh, we play to win. Like, come on. And that's what opened up this whole thing on Russ. Now, let's talk about Russ. You can criticize Russ on his on-the-field play. I have no problem with that. But this criticizing Russ's character, him as a man, that shit gotta stop. I don't understand how the media has been allowed to get away with this. I saw Kyle Brandon this morning on Good Morning Football. I do not like the conversation he decided to have and the dialogue he decided to have about Russ. Oh, he fake and this and that. I watched the Pat McAfee show. I saw how they decided to talk about Russ. I'm so sick of white people. And to me, this is the problem with the sports media right now. You have these white sports analysts, sports personalities, and it's usually white men who are allowed to go on TV and express every single thought they can possibly have. That's why you're allowed to say the things you can say about Lamar Jackson. That's why they can say all these things about Kyler Murray, about his studying habits when it came out. They can call these black quarterbacks stupid if they want to. Nothing gonna happen. And that's the same reason why an African American or somebody of color get on TV and decide to go all the way in and speak their mind. They get canceled, thrown off, and it's a big fuss on Twitter. That's why people bitch about everything Stephen A. say. So I have a problem when a sports media member, the white man, can get on TV, assassinate Russell Wilson's character because of a loss, and then white dudes can get under the comment sections and then try to validate what that white dude just said. Because do we question Peyton Manning's character when he lost games? Did we question Tom Brady's character when he lost games? And the reason I'm using these big quarterbacks is because you would have thought Russell Wilson earned that type of respect. I didn't see people telling me that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning was fake when they gave political answers, when they said the right things. But for some reason, because Russell Wilson is a God-fearing man to the full, because I didn't hear nobody calling Ray Lewis fake either. And he was just as much as a holy into God type of dude as Russell Wilson is. I never saw people doing this to him in a mass grove like people do to Russ. But for some reason, his character is continuously called into question. How are these white dudes allowed to get on TV, question these? That's why they can get on TV and question Kyler Murray about everything that ain't got to do with on the field. Lamar Jackson can be a running back. How ignorant is it of a take is that? Meanwhile, do you see them do this to Baker Mayfield? Who from everything we done seen is a jackass off the field. His teammates never ride for him. But do we see his character get assassinated like this on a normal week-to-week basis every time he lose, like they do to a Russell Wilson, like they do to a Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson lose a game, immediately everybody calling into question, oh, well, he can't throw. This is why I say... Why do they not do that to Baker Mayfield? Why do they not do that to Joe Burrow? People talking about, oh, well, you know, Russell Wilson sat in the locker room extra long. That's what I'm talking about. He's so fake. Joe Burrow did the same thing. Joe Burrow give political answers all the time. Joe Burrow give corny ass answers all the time. Like, what is it that Joe Burrow can be an upstanding citizen and that's what you believe he is, but Russell Wilson is that and is fake? See, I don't get that. And I love Richard Sherman. I really love Richard Sherman as a player. Richard Sherman is becoming a real hater because he can't separate shit. I get it. You're not happy to how Pete Carroll and them boys treated the players around and based on how they treated you and how they treated Russ. But what you got to understand is on a team with a superstar quarterback like a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, a Lamar Jackson, a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, them motherfuckers going to get treated equal but not the same. Just like Richard Sherman wasn't treated the same as another average defender on the Seahawks at the time. Like, so this, and you feel like he cost you a Super Bowl. You can be mad at Russ for throwing that pick, but why would you not direct your hate at the dude who called the play? Because Russell Wilson ain't the only one who get paid. That's what I'm not understanding. This hate for Russell Wilson, like I said, if it was just on the field critique, I'd have no problem. This shit that motherfuckers is getting on TV doing is definitely not on the field critique. These are personal shots at Russell Wilson's character, bro. Because y'all corny. Oh, Russell Wilson too good. He got to be fake. Why? Because you never walked into as nice a person in your life. You never met somebody who act like Russell Wilson. So he got to be fake. I don't understand this. I thought we were supposed to be talking about the sport. What he do on the field. Not attacking this man's character because you have shortcomings in your character. So I don't understand that. I don't understand how Russ even continue to let this shit happen. Probably because he a good dude. But it ain't no way if I'm Russ, I'm continuing to let people come for my character like this. That's how I know this motherfucker a good dude. Because most people not going to continuously let people come for their character. You see Kevin Durant. You say anything Kevin Durant don't like, bro, he coming for your ass. But I'm just real bothered by it all. Because you can critique a player. If you want to say you a hater off rip, bro, then it's all fair game then. I got nothing to say to you if you tell me off rip you about to be a hater. I might not like or respect what come out your mouth, but if you tell me right now you finna be straight up a hater, this ain't got shit to do with his on the field talent, this is straight hating coming from my mouth, fair game. Other than that, like, I don't even really have a problem with Nick Wright. Even though I think he is hella biased, I still think he a terrible analyst at what he do. Especially for players he don't like or players that present a problem to players he do like. He seemed to go far and Like, his critiques of Russell Wilson, like, bro, to throw away Russell Wilson's complete career, bro, just so you can be right now is just insane. But I don't even have a problem with how he talk about Russ at the moment, because he keeping it on the field. Even though, actually, I take that back, because he was taking shots at Russ's character. Like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm just be honest with you, bro. I was raised at least, to actually be the man that Russell Wilson is. Just because Russell became what my mom wanted me to be and what a lot of people want their kids to be, for some reason that makes him fake. I don't understand that. I really don't. It's very irritating, to be honest with you. It's irritating. To me, it's as irritating as all these ignorant pieces of shit coming out calling Lizzo, fat shaming Lizzo, but basically trying to say, oh, well, you know, we worried about her health. You're not, though. You just a hating ass motherfucker. You mad cause she winning. You mad cause she got so much confidence. How could somebody who out of shape and unhealthy have so much confidence in themselves? They hate motherfuckers like that. And trust me, we're gonna talk about the Jordan Poole and Draymond situation on a separate video. But it's the same type of people who in that situation trying to say, well, you know, Jordan Poole been walking around like $100 million man, like he the dude. Broke motherfuckers always hate it when motherfuckers with money or motherfuckers who about to achieve some shit walk around like they know they finna achieve some shit. They can't stand confidence, boy. I'm telling you. It's wild. It's wild out here. But the constant assassination, the constant shots on Russell Wilson's character is one of the most outplayed things in sports. And I'm just real irritated by the distasteful ass conversations that I'm seeing on a lot of these sports shows. Shout out to Shady McCoy, who I already done shouted out before because I think he's a great analyst. That's a dude who I would really like to sit down and have conversations with one day. That motherfucker went at RG3. That motherfucker went at RG3 on Twitter, bro. And this is an example of, just because you see everybody else doing some shit, hey, bro, that don't mean you got to go jump out the window and do it too. Because you remember this. You might think that nobody paying attention because you standing in a crowd of 1,000. But it's always one day you got to think. It's going to be somebody who walk up to that window one day or walk up to the crowd and say, I know that ain't who I think it is. And your ass immediately become the target. Because Shady McCoy was on. And you know it's going to be some people who don't like Russell Wilson, so they're going to try to side with RG3. And it's a losing fight. Because for one, I like what Shady doing. My man tweeted him by like, bro, let's not act like you didn't have this happen to you way more in your career than Russ. Like, facts. Like what they like, that favorite line they like to use from Dre. I hate it when the bench players start talking like starters. Or bench players talking like starters. I hate it. I do. Especially when it get disrespectful. Because these analysts, bro, these sport, and to me, I like it, bro. Because Shady could have took that opportunity to go crazy on Russ too. And he said, nah, I'm not going to do that. Because great players understand what it's like to be great. I like RG3. Not a great player. He was in college. Had a great rookie year. I'm talking about it. You gave me 1 year NFL greatness and you gave me 1 year of greatness in college football, which you know I have no respect for college football. Like, come on. Compared to how many years Shady McCoy was great? 2-time Super Bowl champ. Stop it. But, you know, that's just my little spiel on that right there. We will be back. I might break down the game a little bit more when I talk about both teams' matchups. Neither team play on Sunday, so. But with that, I appreciate you for joining me. My next episode, we will be talking about the next 2 episodes is definitely coming out. It's going to be my predictions for Week 5 and WWE Extreme Rules breakdown. So with that, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. Saint out.
How the fuck I pay a couple card notes and ain't even whipping? How the fuck I'm putting food on the table while I ain't living? Cursed from being alone with these dreams of a happy home. So when I think it's really love, I give them anything they want. I got stupid shit I did as a kid defining me lately. When I try to open up a new chapter, they still hate me. My mental, my only drug, so I'm doing this shit alone. Last time I fought depression and she got me on my zone. One bad move for thuggery, hit record from luxury. Pop said some shit that stuck with me. All it take is a mustard seed. Yesterday I copped $40 a pot those. Homie